Hi, my name's Alex. I'm a ranger and I'm standing here in the Mojave Desert in Southern California, which is where I work. I'm standing in a dry riverbed because I'm going to show you how to do rock tumbling or rock polishing, which is how you make rocks look like this and turn them into this. All you need to get started is a tumbler, rocks, water, media or grit, which is the abrasive material that's used to polish the rocks, an electrical source, and time. A dry riverbed like this is a good place to start, or any kind of riverbed, because rocks over time naturally get tumbled there. When you see a skipping stone that's nice and smooth, that's because over time going down the riverbed and sediment and sand rubbing over these rocks, it naturally smooths them out, kind of like sandpaper, just over thousands and millions of years. So if you start in a riverbed or a dry riverbed, it's a good place to start. You don't need an expensive tumbler. I use the cheapest one you can get pretty much, which is the National Geographic Tumbler. And yeah, that's what I'm going to show you today. So this is a larger extreme example just for you guys to get a good idea of what I'm talking about. When you're looking in these riverbeds, you want to look for something, if you can, that's a little more smoother, like this guy here, or this one here. You can tell there's a difference between all these different rocks, and that's the texture. If you are going to tumble one between the two of these, this one is going to go a lot slower than this guy right here that's already naturally just had the river kind of polish it for you. So that's what you want to look for. You also want to look for similar densities. I learned from when I first did it, something like this, quartz monzonite that just breaks apart. If you mix that with something that's denser like this, which I'm not sure what that is, but if you mix a less dense rock like that, one that's more brittle, it's just going to break apart, and that's what happened to me the first time. So look for ones that have a similar density, and look for patterns like this. You can see there's this kind of black here. That could be dirt, but it looks to me like there's a pattern in there, and there's some, you can see that there's some here. And when you polish the rock, it's really going to come out. It's going to come out 10 times better than this. So look for that if you can. These are huge examples, but again, just find smaller ones like this guy right here, and you're going to get really good results. So you can see I have here the rocks I'm going to tumble. So now I'm going to add the grit. I have Polyplastics grit. They recommend 2 tablespoons per pound of rock. I have about a pound of rock. That's about the general guidelines that people follow. A tablespoon to a tablespoon and a half. I'm just going to go ahead and do what they recommend with the 2 tablespoons, and I'm going to add it to my rocks here. I'm going to first add some water to almost totally covering the rocks. That's okay for me. Our grit. Don't do this like me in the wind. You don't want to get this in your eyes or face or anything. Now we're going to cover it up. Seal it up, I should say. Just have to work it around the edge. This is going to prevent it from water from leaking out. And this is to this National Geographic model, but they're all pretty similar. You put this metal sort of washer on top, and then you have this that'll screw down and hold it down tight. And you just want to make sure that that metal rim here gets around the outside of all of the rubber there. So when you seal it down, at least it should cover it somewhat securely. So now we have our rocks loaded in here along with our grit and water. It's ready to go on the tumbler. It's in the container here. Just plug this in, goes to the wall. There's different timer settings on this particular one. This National Geographic Hobby Tumbler is the most common one you're gonna find. It's at Walmart, Amazon, it's like 50 bucks, something like that. And I think they sell different upgraded versions, but either way, you can find these all over. You just plug it in, you set the timer for how long you want, depending on what you're tumbling, and we'll show you how that looks after this. So here you can see the tumbler in action. I have it set for 1 day because I like to be around when it's running. You're going to want to adjust your settings based on the material you're polishing and what that requires. It takes a long time for every step, but it's worth it.
Dump it.
Make sure not to dump the liquid from your tumbler into any kind of sink or plumbing, as it's pretty much cement when it dries out, and it'll totally destroy it if you do.
Wow.
So that's really all there is to rock tumbling. Again, this is for people that are just doing this casually. I am by no means a professional. I don't know the names of half the rocks I tumble. I just think it looks really cool. You can use it to decorate around your succulents or other types of plants, things like that. Again, I hope you find this educational or entertaining, or you find a new hobby to do. If you enjoy this video, please like it, please subscribe it, and please consider donating to my GoFundMe that is linked in the description. It's hard living out here. I am paid for all the work I do, so this work will get done regardless if you donate or not, but I keep updates on there. It helps me just provide for some of the stuff I need out here. So thank you very much, and I'll see you next time.